And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and always providing you the timely truth centered around real estate, credit, finance and estate planning, tax planning, and 85 other categories of consumer advocate content, all about helping you understand more about your buying decisions, making you just a bit more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. That's our number one goal. We want to engage with you so that we can help you live a better life and win.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Save our hotline number in your phone. At some point, you're going to need it. 813-670-7372.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
813-670-7372. You can call or text that line. It's an off-air number, and we've had an uptick in calls lately. We really appreciate all of our radio family out there for checking us out here. 5 o'clock drive time, 1380 The Biz, weekend show on FM 102.5 The Bone, and our TV show is syndicated as well on Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Sony TV, and about 85 other outlets. So search Binge Networks to find our TV show on those networks, and we would love to hear your feedback from it at consumerqb.com. That's our website. You can see links there to all of our expert contributors at consumerqb.com. And you can also submit an email form, and that form will come directly through myself and my team. And we're going to make sure we get back to you before our head hits the pillow. Intelligent Talk Radio, I've got some intelligent folks here in studio. Gregg Bowman back in studio, the AC guy of Tampa Bay. Welcome in, sir.
Thanks, Brandon. It's great to be back here. Definitely nice to get out of the heat and humidity out there right now.
Yeah, that's right, man. Ooh, it's hot. It is hot.
Yeah.
AC guy of Tampa.com is the website. And yeah, you got some great programs, and we'll talk about some of that stuff today.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good deal. We got Stephanie Rosario back in studio. Thanks so much for coming in, representing Frank Charles Miranda Law. Welcome in.
Hi, Brandon. Great to be back.
Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Awesome. So you kind of run the title side of the office over there. You're doing some real estate closings. Office is on Cypress, centrally located. Great location right there on Cypress.
Yes, it's a great location.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, we got attorney Lauren Frieder in the house, making her debut to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Welcome in.
Thank you very much, Brandon.
All
Happy
right.
to be here.
Awesome, good stuff. Yeah. What did we want to talk about today?
You know, it's been an interesting week between court hearings and city council hearings. So, you know, I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about some different advice maybe to take away from some of the craziness that has ensued throughout the week.
Yeah, I like
for
that.
Our consumers.
Let's educate the consumers. So we're going to talk about, what happens when the city council or the county or someone gives you a violation. What does that mean? We're going to talk about Airbnb. It's so popular now. These rental sites, vacation rental by owner. What's legally your rights as a property owner? What are your rights, and who has the governing power to say you can or cannot rent your property? We're going to talk about that today here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and also this segment being brought to you by the Bilmar Beach Resort, the official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. The Bilmar Beach Resort on beautiful Treasure Island, Florida, filled with fantastic and generous amenities to make your vacation that much more special. And I love going to visit on the weekends. That's local staycation. You have that time where you go in and just enjoy the downtime on the beach. 2 pools on site, Sloppy Joe's Beach Bar and Restaurant right there. And Clyde Smith, the general manager, such a cool guy. He says, yeah, Brandon, it's a 2-beer beach. It's going to take you 2 beers to walk all the way down to the water from the beach. So it's a great place to go hang out on the weekends, or maybe plan a wedding or an event there. Bilmar Beach Resort. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take them up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, we got a hot new listing on Clearwater Beach. This is one of my favorite listings in a while. 861 Mandalay Avenue, Clearwater Beach. Gorgeous property. We've got the temporary pics up right now. We're waiting on the professional photography to come back from Fabre Frameworks. 2-bedroom, 2-bath beach house on Clearwater Beach. Only 200 steps from the soft sands and the sugar sands of North Clearwater Beach and the dolphin-filled waters of Clearwater Beach. Great opportunity. This house has a nice lanai area area as well with the bar, kind of that beach feel. Just a great place to entertain, maybe watch some football games in the afternoons. 861 Mandalay Avenue, Clearwater Beach. Hot real estate property. Check out all of our listings at PlatinumMVPTeam.com. PlatinumMVPTeam.com. All right, Greg, let's jump right into it. You know, it's this time of year. It's you know, your air conditioner is going to tell you if it likes you or not. Have you been taking care of me or not? You know, it's one of those things. It's going to come out now.
It definitely is. Yeah, definitely. This is the time of year where if your air conditioner has had enough, it's gonna give it up. So yeah, definitely anything you can do to make that air conditioner hang in there for you is definitely a smart investment. In doing that. So
my brother posted a picture. He's a school teacher down in the Estero area, Fort Myers, Naples area, and you know, it was a picture of his back. It was all sweaty because he went back to school, and I guess, you know, hey, nobody was looking at the school the whole summer or whatever it was, and the air conditioning broke down.
Yeah, it's definitely a bad time to have it break down on you too. Thought we'd talk a little bit about FREON. FREON is actually being outlawed completely in the United States at the end of this year.
Wow.
It's been being phased out for the last 10 years, since 2010, but December 31st of 2019 is the last date that it's allowed to be produced inside the U.S. Or imported. So after, you know, starting January 1 of next year, there will be no FREON available unless it's recycled from existing systems in the U.S.
Wow.
So pricing of refrigerant, for particularly FREON, which is the old refrigerant. Most newer systems today have what we typically call Puron, the newer refrigerant. But any system that's 10 plus years old may be FREON based. At the end of this year, that goes away, the ability to essentially service it at a reasonable price. This happened with automobiles in the early 90s. If you remember, they used to run on R12, and they were phased into the R134A refrigerant.
Okay.
A lot of people found that all of a sudden, when they needed to get their air conditioner charged in their car, they couldn't do it anymore. They had to buy a whole new air conditioner for their car.
Wow.
Or buy a new car.
That's costly.
So yeah, it is. So it's definitely something to be aware of. You know, there's not a lot of press about the fact that that's happening because it's been a slow phase out, you know, over the last 10 years. But it's going to hit, you know. So definitely for anybody out there that's got an existing system, or if you're, you know, in the real estate market, if you're looking to buy a unit, keep that in mind. If you're buying a house with a system that uses the old FREON, you might want to be aware that there could be some costs associated with that down the road.
Wow. So what are the implications here, Greg? If you just joined us, Brandon Rhymes, we're talking with Gregg Bowman, the AC guy of Tampa Bay. What are the implications? What does all that mean?
Well, it means basically that the only supply of refrigerant will be, you know, whatever is recycled from existing units in the U.S.
Wow.
Now, there is some supplies stockpiled, but as the supply decreases, the price will skyrocket. The price of FREON has already skyrocketed. If you want to look at it back significantly, I remember when I started working with my dad in this industry in the 80s, we were paying 25 cents a pound for FREON.
Wow.
It's now going for $80 to $100 a pound.
Wow.
And it probably will hit $200 or $300 in a year because of it being phased out. So for the consumer, you're left with a couple of options if your system needs refrigerant. That if you have a system that uses the old FREON, you can there are alternative refrigerants that can be converted over to, but there's cost involved in that. Certain changes have to be made. So you can convert your system over to a new refrigerant. If the system's a 10-plus-year-old system, it probably doesn't make sense. You're probably going to almost be forced to replace it just from a financial standpoint. When that happens.
Wow. Yeah. So this Puron is something that they're wanting to try to phase in. So
Correct. Yeah. Puron has been used in air conditioners for 20 years already, but in 2010 is when they kind of forced the issue. The government mandated that all new air conditioners produced starting in 2010 had to be made to use Puron. Now, there was a loophole in that law, and some people found a way around that and were able to keep producing R22, the FREON-based units, until 2015. So there are some systems out there that are really only 4 or 5 years old that use the FREON that is now going to be no longer available.
Okay.
But yeah, if you've bought a new system in the last 10 years, most likely it has Puron in it.
Yeah.
So it's more going to be an issue of those older units that are out there that it's going to be forced to do something with.
Yeah. I remember one time, one of my houses, it had like a slow leak, and they're like, well, we can add more Freon. It's just going to leak out, So that stuff just goes in the atmosphere, and that's what's killing some of the ozone.
Correct. Yeah, that's the point behind it, is why it's being phased out, is because of global warming and the decreasing the ozone layer, all that kind of stuff. The refrigerant is bad for that, so that's why they're phasing to new refrigerants. But it definitely is having a financial implication for the consumer.
Yeah. Now, a large percentage of our expert contributors here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, I've actually done business with firsthand experience, so I can tell you the same for Greg and his team, his company, the AC guy of Tampa Bay. We moved into our new construction home. We signed up for the gold package, is it, or the
VIP program.
VIP program. So the VIP program is great. It's like quarterly checkups, or the checkups are done, the air filters are changed, because I've had so many family members that they had the leak in the pipe, and it crushed their roof, and they had the issues with the leaking. So for, I think it's like $14.99 a month or something like that, Greg.
Yeah, $14 a month. We come out and maintain your system for you. Twice a year we'll come out and change your filters, clean the coils, clean the drain, go through the entire system, make sure everything's working the way it should, make sure your refrigerant levels are good. Kind of a complete maintenance package for $14 a month. And then if there were that rare case where you'd have an emergency situation and you do need service other than that, you're a priority customer. We have a discounted rate of only $59 to come out, even if it's at 2 in the morning, and then also discounts on any repairs on top of that. So it's a good investment to make in making sure your air conditioner is going to love you back, especially when it's working hard as it is right now.
That's right. Yeah, especially a lot of us are busy professionals. It's like the last thing you need is to deal with that. And, have to deal with it. And then you got small kids or whatever the situation, elderly. They have that AC go out can really be very tragic in a lot of cases.
Yeah. It's one of the things that's very interesting about being in the air conditioning business. When we go out to somebody's home where their air isn't working, you will not ever find anybody more grateful than when you turn that switch and it starts cooling again. So
that's right. Yeah.
It definitely is something that's a necessity in Florida.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got a feel-good story of the day coming up, and more from our expert contributors. Gregg Bowman in the house, Stephanie Rosario, attorney Lauren Frieder here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and our feel-good story of the day. Middle school football players help elderly woman to safety. Stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short timeout.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by Trulieve on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, helping our sellers profit more on the sale of their real estate properties, maximizing the exposure for them. We got a great property here in Tampa on Schooner Way. This property is just listed, and it is a hot waterfront opportunity here in Tampa Bay on Schooner Way. Now, this property is on a freshwater canal with bay access to Upper Tampa Bay. So you've got a boat dock out there, 5822 Schooner Way in Tampa. It's 33615 is the zip code, kind of that town and country area, Bayport, and it's a very desirable gated community here in Tampa Bay. Hot property listing, completely renovated on the inside as well. We had Tina Russell combining efforts with my wife Lindsay, and they went in and did some feng shui, some interior design, and made it look gorgeous on the inside. So this is a great opportunity here. Check out all of our properties at PlatinumMVPTeam.com. Somewhere sunny and 75. And this segment is brought to you by the Lucky Dill Restaurant, the official restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. The Lucky Dill Restaurant, right here in Tampa on Boy Scout Boulevard, Palm Harbor on US 19, online at LuckyDillDeli.com. Now, make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take them up on special offers and incentives. The Lucky Dill Deli, great ambiance. They've got that New York sports theme going, and it's home of the sandwich that ate Brooklyn. Excellent food, very friendly staff. Check out the Lucky Dill. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you, and they're going to give you some special incentives and offers there just by mentioning that you're a fan of the show. All right, in studio today, we got Gregg Bowman, the AC guy of Tampa Bay, Stephanie Rosario representing FCMLaw.com and the title company side, and attorney Lauren Frieder as well. Frank Charles, FCMLaw.com is the website. So, Stephanie, busy time of the year, man. The rates have dropped. You got refinances going on. You got title work going on residential real estate properties, commercial real estate properties. What a great time to be in the market.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's super busy right now.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot this week, especially. I want to talk a little bit about the municipal lien search.
Okay.
We've had some issues when your seller comes in, and we always do municipal lien searches on every property.
Okay.
So unfortunately, though, when it's a seller at our table, but at one point in time they were a buyer at another table buying the property. I just think it's important for these buyers to know when they are buying to make sure that title company or law firm, wherever they're closing at, make sure they're getting a municipal lien search done.
Wow.
Although it's paid by the seller, that buyer needs to know that there is a municipal lien search being done on the property, because at some point in time when they do sell it, if there's any unpaid utility bills or unpaid permit issues, they're responsible. Even though it's not their permit issue or it's not their unpaid utility bill, they are responsible paying for those things when they're selling it, because we will do a municipal lien search.
Wow.
And we'll see anything, even if it's back from before they own the property. They have to be paid.
So in other words, a bad closing agent when you purchased didn't catch that, and now when you're selling, it's there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because when they're buying, sometimes, title companies and law firms, they're supposed to be doing municipal lien searches. Some of them aren't. I don't know why.
Wow.
But some of them
are
aren't.
they doing an alternative type of lien search?
No, they're doing their, obviously they're doing their title search, but it's so important to have that extra municipal lien search done.
Yeah.
So even though the buyer is not paying for it at the time, the buyer needs to question, hey, did this title company do a municipal lien search? Let they need to see it.
Yeah.
You know, they're buying it, they still need to see it. Even though they're not paying for it, they do need to see it.
Well, that's a great consumer advocate tip, because most people wouldn't realize to ask that question. You know, hey, you walk into a title company, you just make an assumption, you know, hey, they're doing a lien search, they're going to check for mechanics liens, permit lien.
Right.
But the correct question is a municipal lien search. Okay.
Yeah. And that will show any unpaid utility bills, any unpaid permit issues that were once on the property, making sure that all the permits are closed out properly. That search will tell you any of those things. The title search on the property, that does not tell you that. So make sure that there is a municipal lien search done on the property.
Yes. And closing out permits, that's another big issue. Sometimes people just have these permits, contractors, you know, they just didn't finish the job. They finished the job, maybe they didn't close out the paperwork.
Right.
You know?
And if a permit's not closed out, guess what? Now you're the seller, and now you have to go pay that fee. Sometimes it's $250.
Yeah, and you're accumulating. That's accumulating over time in some situations, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes, I mean, it's just, there's just so many things. So, I mean, as a buyer, I would just make sure that title company or, you know, law firm, wherever you're closing, make sure they're doing a municipal lien search.
Lauren, you want to add anything onto that?
Yeah, it's funny. Absolutely, I do. As Stephanie was talking about this, I deal with this a lot as an attorney on litigation side. You know, obviously, a buyer's purchase a piece of property for whatever purpose they're going to use it for. And an example that maybe just think is when Stephanie's talking is somebody who unfortunately did not get a municipal lien search done. Now they're dealing with us, so we can help them. But you know, basically what happened is the person purchased a piece of property that was zoned at one point in time as a multi-dwelling unit, and so the prior owner sold this house so he could go ahead and, you know, thinking, let me renovate, go ahead and get all these, you know, multi-dwelling units ready. Because the search wasn't done properly, what he did not know is that the prior owner did not pay all the permits and the taxes that accumulated in. So the prior owner, who was actually grandfathered in when they changed the zoning districts, that was lost when this new buyer got the property. Interestingly enough, though, the city went ahead and let the buyer spend $50,000, $60,000 pulling all these permits where it says multi-resident dwelling. So they knew what he was up to, and then now have slapped him with a huge fine. And it's like, what do you do with this piece of property?
Wow.
So now you go to city council, and you know
you beg.
You're gonna but you're gonna be looking at different arguments of estoppel and waste.
Yeah.
There's some constructive notice there, but it's really important for a buyer to do their own due diligence. You can never depend on exactly what a seller's telling you. There's seller disclosures. You really have to go and do your own due diligence as well. It's better to be prepared and spend a little money up front, because I will tell you this much: it's not cheap going through litigation, and it's lengthy, and you really do not know what the result will be then. So you're taking a gamble. So if you do your due diligence up front, spend a little money, but it will be well worth it later. I also, even say take a step farther beyond what Stephanie's saying. We do this all the time. A simple public records request, going back and looking at the property itself for at least 7 to 10 years, is going to show some different stuff that maybe would not show up in a municipal lien search and in a title closing when they're going through and looking for different things. It'd be really interesting. It's interesting to see what's happened over the years, and it gives you some really good insight. And that's also free. Luckily we live in Florida. It's the Sunshine State, so you have the ability to get almost any information you want for free or at a very small cost.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of good stuff there. So the open permits, they can accumulate cost over time, so that adds up quickly. It's probably compounded at some point. It's getting compounded. And then it also leads me to another conversation here about REOs, foreclosure properties. A lot of investors, a lot of these guys, they go to a weekend seminar. Hey, I'm going to be a real estate investor now. I know they taught me everything they know in the one weekend, and then they go in and they start making offers on properties, and man, that's a dangerous proposition.
It is dangerous because you really don't know what you're buying, and what you get when you buy that is what you get.
That's right.
And that's that.
Yeah. There was a big one in the news last year. I think Frank and I actually talked about it on the radio. There was a big one in the news. I want to say it was over by the beaches, but there was this guy that had did some kind of fake deal where he faked the thing and the satisfaction of mortgage, something wasn't recorded, but it was an REO situation, I believe, and they bought the condo. They thought they got a good deal on it, but there's actually another lien that they didn't find.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That story, or what Frank's talking about, we have so many different issues that it's kind of hard to remember, what clients and what's happened. But that sounds like something that actually happens a lot more than you would believe.
Yeah, and it's a challenge. So if you are a real estate investor, you're buying at the courthouse steps. First of all, it's cash. A lot of it, you got to have cash on the spot or hard money to be able to close it within the next 24 hours. So those are things you got to be really careful of. Lots of good stuff here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. Gregg Bowman's in the house, Stephanie Rosario, Lauren Frieder as well, FCMLaw.com, ACGuyofTampa.com, and when we come back, more from our expert contributors here in studio. And our feel-good story of the day is a good one. We got a middle school football players helping an elderly woman to safety here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Make sure you follow us online at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram and Twitter, Consumer Quarterback Show on Facebook. We'll be right back after this short break.
Hey, this is Jarek Robbins. You are listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show with Brandon Rhymes. Please do what it takes to learn all that you have to live the life you want to live it fully, and find a way to give it by paying it forward to others.
Get in touch with Brandon online at consumerqb.com.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by TrueLeaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes, and this show is powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Published author, professional speaker. Check out our book on Amazon, Become the MVP in Your Industry by Surfing the Radio Waves. We'd love for you to check out a book, check out a copy of that book, and it kind of launched us into our company that we launched with Ken Shamrock, the Ultimate Fighting Champion, UFC Hall of Famer, the Business Growth Celebrity Academy. Check out bgca.co. The Business Growth Celebrity Academy helps you become a micro celebrity to grow wealth, build personal brand, and establish credibility. Anyone can become a micro celebrity. It's easy. Check out bgca.co for our daily webinars there, information for you. This segment is brought to you by Brothers Easy Moving, and I can tell you from first-hand experience that they are a first-class organization. They do a great job, whether it's a local or long-distance move. Check out Brothers Easy Moving. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take them up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the show. And we got a hot property just listed yesterday. This one's 913 Hammock Pine Boulevard in Clearwater. 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo. Nice, clean property. And it's got some nice little upgrades for it. Great community as well. Active lifestyle there. Pool, tennis courts, and other clubs to get involved with and stay active. Close to the mall. The walkability is nice. You can literally walk over to I believe it's the Westfield Mall there in Clearwater. Check out all of our listings at PlatinumMVPTeam.com. Online at PlatinumMVPTeam.com. All right, in studio today, we got Gregg Bowman, the AC guy of Tampa Bay, Stephanie Rosario as well, and attorney Lauren Frieder here. You've heard Frank Charles Miranda on the show. And so let's jump back into it. I want to talk to Lauren here on these Airbnb properties. A lot of people buy, again, doing your due diligence, back to the common theme of, asking questions, doing due diligence, making sure you're making an informed decision. Some people buy properties, they just have the idea of, hey, I'm going to rent this out weekly. They end up finding out the hard way they can't do that.
Yes, absolutely. That seems to be a huge problem these days. That goes back to us understanding, what district or zoning when you're buying or looking to purchase a property. So if you're thinking about using this property as a rental property, you need to know what district you're zoned in. So what I've been noticing in different city council hearings is, for example, if somebody's trying to rent out a property for a month long on Airbnb, what they have is people scouring the internet to look at these ads to see if they're compliant based off of the district that the resident is zoned in. So certain districts, for example, will not allow what we call transient occupancy. And under Florida statute, that would mean we're talking about, hotels, short visits, something less than 1 month. But what happens when you list on Airbnb, you might be trying to follow the rules and only allow a rental for 1 month. But the way Airbnb works, it doesn't really show it as 1 month. It's the way that code enforcement is looking at this because it's actually based on advertising. So you can be in violation before you even had somebody come rent the property.
Just from the advertisement.
Just the advertisement. And this is code. And there's a lot of ambiguity in the law because they say transient occupancy has to deal with 1 month. So if you're trying to rent a property, for example, in February 2020, which happens to be a leap year, there's 29 days, right? So now somebody's getting cited for that because somebody happened to scour the internet and say, oh, well, this is less than a month. But it's not, because there's 29 days in February 2020 next year.
Right.
But now you've got a violation.
Wow.
And the issue with it is I implored the city council to ask the people to take a step further. And I'm not talking about Tampa City Council in this example. The person that scours the internet to take a step further to see if it's really the rental's going for an exact month or less instead of penalizing these people. Because what happens is if you violate it once, typically a fine is $250 a day until you've been in compliance. But then if they found you not in compliance, or you've already been found to violate this and it happens again, now you're considered a repeat violator and you're getting fined at $500 a day. And there's not going to be a lot of findings of facts and conclusions. They're already going to hit you with that. So you're not even having an ability to comply where you typically would when you get your first notice of violation from, city code enforcement or whatnot. So what I applaud City Council of where I'm talking about from this week. to try to explain to a lot of these residents that are coming and having these huge fines, $18,000, $9,000, and in which in a court system we would say this isn't ripe yet, nothing's happened, the damages haven't occurred, the rental hasn't actually happened.
Right.
But because the code is written as advertising as well, is to document all steps that you put into the different ads, like put at the bottom of your ad, minimum 1 month rental, so it doesn't look like you're renting it per day.
Right.
And then we can get into a little bit of legislation, because it's the Florida statute that's written ambiguously. It does say 1 month, and so people are like, well, when you read this, they're like, well, 1 month, is that 30 days? Is that 31? Is it 29? Is it 28?
Yes.
And they say 1 month, but then it keeps rearing its ugly head where people are getting fined, and it's the way the Airbnb ads run.
Yes.
And something also to consider is when you're advertising on the internet, you have to really understand that if you ask the Airbnb, hey, can you comply? Florida statute says this. They're under no obligation. They don't have they're not under our jurisdiction to have to listen to the rules. It doesn't affect them. I've had court orders that people say, well, that doesn't have anything to do with me. This, even though it says go change this advertisement, but they're not under our jurisdiction. So wherever they're operating out of, they don't have to do that. So the best thing also to do is obviously know, where you're living and what the rules are. And it's actually really easy to find. So if you're living in St. Pete Beach, for example, just type in City of St. Pete Beach, and then on Google, then you'll see a list. You can just click on a link to see all the different code enforcement rules and figure out which area you live in so you can comply. And, what they're really just looking for is a good faith effort. If you didn't realize that, there's so many rules out there. That's why there's attorneys to show that, as soon as you got the notice, you corrected it. First time, it's not going to happen again. But if you have questions, talk to the code enforcement people. They are normal, nice people. I see a lot of stuff when I finally do get involved from clients that I've seen. I'm like, oh my gosh, and I'm reading these emails back and forth. This is public record, and it's also going to just fire up the code enforcement officer. So when you go in for that hearing, they're not going to want to work with you and recommend stuff to the city attorney, who's really deciding, should we let these fines go? Should we reduce them? Are we going to make these liens that attach to the house?
Right.
So, I always say, my advice to all clients and everybody is email like it will one day be read out loud at a deposition or on the stand.
Absolutely.
You just never really know, what can be used against you.
Be careful with that.
Or just be polite.
Be polite. You're going to get so much more that way.
Absolutely. It's definitely frustrating when you get hit with, fines that you think, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have to agree. When I once did some of this stuff, I'm like, ooh, glad I don't live here.
Yeah.
But that's the choice you make when you decide to buy. So you need to look into the different area that you're interested in buying. So you understand. So you maybe this isn't the right place for you. Maybe you don't want to live in that area because these rules apply where they wouldn't maybe apply in Tampa.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to be careful about it, and to your point too. So a lot of those companies are based in Silicon Valley or out of state, so there's no governing body there. And again, some of these, I saw a story online about Dunedin. They fined this guy for, I think it was $100 a day or $500 a day for his grass not being cut, instead of and the guy was out of town attending to a sick relative, his mom was dying, something like that, and it got up to $15,000-$30,000, whatever it was. And they actually threatened foreclosure on the guy's house. And then this group came together and said it's a justice group and said, no, we're going to help fight this because that's ridiculous. Why didn't you hire somebody to cut the grass for less than $500 a day instead of continuing to fine this person? So there's a lot of overreaching by government in a lot of cases, and that pissed a lot of people off.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And that's what I was saying when I was sitting there thinking, we just had lightning. I mean, by me, 2 houses got hit by lightning. You can't sit there fining people, and this is not by me, but for, storm damage. They give them a chance to clean it up. I mean, it just seems a little ridiculous. We were talking about cutting grass. In the real court system, you have a duty to mitigate. So they should be cutting the grass then instead of fining $500 a day, and then, give them a bill, an invoice for cutting the grass.
For $100 or whatever it would cost to have someone cut that grass. Put them on a bi-weekly, baby. Get them every week, every 2 weeks.
In fact, I would sign up for that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so some good stuff there. So attorney Lauren Frieder over at FCM Law, FCMLaw.com, real estate, title, all those types of real estate applications, litigation. You actually are one of these attorneys that actually goes to court.
We are in court almost every day. So we take a variety of cases. I got the pleasure of being in divorce court this week. So
cool.
Yeah. No.
Lots of fun.
I highly recommend people work things out ahead of time in case it goes south. It's not a place you want to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it makes me think about property and stuff because then you think about partitions and selling the houses and it gets ugly, so.
It does. Yep. FCMlaw.com. You got the office over there on Cypress as well. Cypress Boulevard. And right here in Tampa.
Yes, 3226 West Cypress Street.
3226 West Cypress Street. All right, good stuff. All right, so when we come back, we're going to jump into our lightning round. We're going to have parting words of wisdom and advice from all of our expert contributors here. And our feel-good story of the day coming up is a good one. It's a middle school football players help an elderly woman to safety. Find out about these fine young kids in Ohio here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We'll be right back after this short timeout. Don't go anywhere.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. Ian Beckles.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by Trulieve on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us here. Brandon Rhymes, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. This segment is brought to you by WholeBodyFuel.com, the official meal delivery service of the Consumer Quarterback Show, WholeBodyFuel.com. They do a great job. Chef Brian Adamo and his team, they prepare, deliver these awesome meals directly to your home or office. What else do you have in this world if you don't have your health? They're home of the world-famous protein donuts as well. Excellent food, and it's very convenient when it's delivered directly to your home and office. Check out WholeBodyFuel.com. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. All right, a couple of hot listings here for this segment. We've got property at Gun Highway in Tampa. And also Boy Scout Road in Odessa, actually. So Boy Scout Road, Gun Highway, corner lot right here at Racetrack Road. So you've probably driven that corner. It's a very popular corner. Gun Highway, Racetrack Road, and 2.39 acres, zoned RSC-2. So RSC-2 on that zoning there. Boy Scout Road, I want to show you Boy Scout Road. This property is $2.498 million. It's a big listing for us here. Prime waterfront, 2 custom estate-style home sites with the availability of 1 single family home per 5-acre parcel. So for this area in Odessa, looking for estate-style home sites, anyone that's in that market of the equestrian style. So looking for the horse lovers, people that want to do rodeo, barrel racing, horseback riding, polo, English saddle, whatever type of horseback riding or you enjoy, we would love to show you this property. 18117 Boy Scout Boulevard Road in Odessa, Florida. Hot real estate property listings at PlatinumMVPTeam.com. Okay, so every day we're going to tell you something positive here on our feel-good story of the day. Tell me something good. All right, so we got middle school football players helping an elderly woman to safety. So 5 middle school players were captured on camera helping an elderly woman safely down a busy road to join her family before a parade. So the boys in Alliance Middle School in Ohio, they noticed a woman who was struggling with her wheelchair in a grassy path. So they walked up and they helped her push her where there were no sidewalks to take her. Alliance City Schools recognized the boys' act of kindness on a Facebook post. Quote, today before the parade, 5 AMS football players assisted an elderly woman travel safely down State Street to join her family. We're very proud of Aiden, Braylon, Isaiah, Camden, and Dominic. And they chose to offer their help without being asked and showed what a caring citizen truly is. All right, there's our feel-good story of the day. And let's jump right into our lightning round. We're going to give you some top tips, nuggets of advice, and parting words of wisdom.
The lightning round!
I am so good at lightning rounds!
I majored in lightning rounds.
All right, Gregg Bowman, the AC guy of Tampa Bay. What say you, sir?
Well, I thought I'd piggyback off of what Stephanie and Lauren had talked about a little bit about with open permits, especially since that applies to the contracting field. It amazes me how much that still happens with as hard as the city and county rides us as a contractor to close permits.
Yeah.
The only logical explanation that I can find that there would still be that many open permits out there, because I can't pull permits if I don't have my permits closed. I have 6 months to close a permit. If I have an open permit that goes past 6 months, I can't pull a new permit for another job. They would shut me down. So It amazes me that it happens. The only reason that can be happening is there's that many companies going in and out of business, who just do not care.
That's what I was thinking.
They'll, and that's happening. You know, there's probably about 400 contractors in the Tampa Bay market. Yeah. Probably about 20% of them, so maybe about 80 of them, have been around for a significant amount of time, that they're reputable. Over 300 are, a year or two old and will be out of business in another year or two. Wow. So you really got to be cautious of who you're dealing with. Yeah. Protect yourself. Really research who you're working with as a contractor. Check their reviews. Take that with a grain of salt, because even that can be
manipulated.
It can be. So you can call your local building department and ask them, for some referrals.
Yeah.
We do actually get referred by the building departments in certain areas because they know our work. So
nice.
Just be cautious of who you're dealing with. That's I think the best thing I can say, because it amazes me that there can still be open permits in our day and market, because they are so tough on us about it. Like it's one, we have somebody that's probably 20 hours a week they're spent just dealing with making sure we get permits closed, because it has to be done to stay in business. So ACGuyofTampaBay.com, ACGuyofTampaBay.com. Check out Gregg Bowman and his team online there, and of course ConsumerQB.com. You can see links to all of our expert contributors at ConsumerQB.com. Stephanie Rosario, FCMLaw.com.
Yes, I just wanted to throw out there that right now we are having a special for any realtor. We are offering a transaction coordinator for $100 a deal. So if there's any real estate agents out there that need a little extra help, we have a transaction coordinator for $100 a deal. Wow. Just give us a call, 813-254-2637, extension 3.
Okay, so transaction coordinator, what exactly does that mean?
The real estate agents that are needing help for getting, the agent can list the deal on MLS, handle all the paperwork, getting everything coordinated from start to finish for the realtor. Mm-hmm. So the realtor, all that paperwork that has to be done from start to finish, this transaction coordinator will handle everything.
Wow. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
That's a good job.
Yeah, $100. So
awesome.
It's promotion we have right now.
That's great. Great promo right there. All right, attorney Lauren Frieder, that is, FCMLaw.com.
Yes, just going with the theme of today, I think really it's all about doing your own due diligence and not relying just strictly on other people's opinions. At the end of the day, you got to own your own decision making. So, when we're talking about the AC and the permits and stuff, and he's talking about realtors, also, if you're looking to buy or sell a house, I always talk about the importance of really looking into who your realtor is. Do they know the area? What are their connections with the other realtors? How familiar are they with the different zoning and permits issues? If you're looking to use a certain land for something, do they know this?
Right.
Are they being honest with you? And communication is key. If you ever have any questions, just do this ahead of time. Call us. My phone number is 813-254-2637, extension 5, 813-254-2637, extension 5. I work 24/7, 7 days a week. So if you leave me a voicemail, I'll get it on my email and I will call you back. But we are here to help and answer those questions, to try to keep you out of court, to try to save you money in the long run. There's nothing worse than somebody hopefully having their happiest day that then turns around to be one of the worst decisions. So anything we can do to fix that ahead of time. And also, as I said, as a consumer, do your own due diligence.
Yeah.
Never just simply rely on what somebody's told you.
Yeah, that's important. I like that one. And Greg, you mentioned in your, the 80-20 rule, you mentioned that in your warning to the consumers there. So I'd like to, talk about the 80-20 rule here. It's an interesting how this rule came about. In 1895, there was an Italian economist named Wilfredo Pareto, and he coined this 80-20 rule. He noticed that, the wealth and the land ownership primarily in Italy at the time was broken down into what he called the vital few, what he says, the 80-20 rule. So 20% of the people owned 80% of the land. Mm-hmm. And what happened is that became an economic law, a principle, 80-20 principle, which you see that in sales, you see that in contractors, as Greg mentioned, the 20% of the contractors that have been around for a long time, that are doing the right thing, that are closing out permits, the 80% that come and go. You see it in the real estate industry when we have a market shift. There's certain companies will have more agents at a certain time, and then they'll shrink down to a really small amount of agents. And so you see that in life. So what does that mean to you? How can it help you? Is if you were to write down 10 things that you do on a daily basis or a weekly basis, out of those 10 things, there's going to be 2 or 3 of those things that are going to be more crucial for you to accomplish. So that's going to help you move yourself towards success. So really honing in and finding out, of my time management, what am I spending my time on? Am I focusing on prospecting if I'm in sales? That's going to be the key. And it's really that simple. If you can focus on the things that are going to make you money, produce results, then that's where you really apply the 80-20 rule. Compliments of Wilfredo Pareto. All right, let's do another round here. We got about 3 minutes. Let's do a quick round, Greg. Give us another tip, something that people can think about to maybe engage with you or, take care of their systems.
Yeah, we'll probably just go back to our, just reiterating our VIP program. $14 a month. We come out, take care of your air conditioner for you. You will pay that money to the power company or us.
Right.
If you're not paying it to us to maintain your air conditioner, a dirty coil very quickly will consume more electricity and cost you at least $14 a month in your electric bill. So,
yep.
Rather than let Tika or Duke get that money, put it into your air conditioner. Hopefully your air conditioner will love you and you won't have to sit in the heat.
Yeah, absolutely. Lauren, let's go back to you. Give us another tip.
I'm going to reiterate the importance of making sure what you put in an email or a text message is appropriate, because someday you never know when it's going to come back to haunt you. And we've all done that by mistake. I'm obviously guilty of it.
That's right.
Treat people with respect. If you have an issue with them, don't write it out. You get a lot farther in the court system and in life being pleasant and just trying to discuss and come to a resolution. There's nothing that's going to come good of screaming and putting ugly, nasty words into writing. Yeah. It will be used against you, absolutely. It makes me think of the Miranda warnings when they say, everything you say and will be used against you. And they surely will.
I heard it described as the Oprah rule, like Oprah's had a theme, I guess, of never leave a relationship on a bad note. Even if the deal's going sour, it's like, hey, you know what? Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you hearing me out. Save my name and number. You never know. Real estate, life, business, attorney.
You don't know.
It's all about timing.
You really don't know. It is all about timing.
Yep.
I always believe in leaving things on a good note. You have to.
Yep. And then with the emails as well, a lot of times people try to do 7 steps in an email. If you do this, then I'll do that. No, just have one move, like a chess game, right?
Yeah.
Here's my move, short email, give it back to you, because there's been studies shown that, who reads long emails? No, I don't. Who writes long emails? A lot of people. A lot of people do. So we want short, sweet, specific, to the point, one step at a time emails, and don't put all your cards on the table at first, because you don't know how they're going to respond. So
Absolutely.
That's what you want to do. So, hey, another great show today. I want to thank Gregg Bowman, the AC guy of Tampa Bay, Stephanie Rosario as well, attorney Lauren Frieder, FCMLaw.com, AC guy of Tampa.com. And thanks to all of our listeners, our viewers out there, you guys that are calling in. We love that every day, reaching out and engaging with us. Our team, our executive producers out there, really doing a great job for us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Pack up some food or clothing, carry it with you to and from your commute, hand it to that person that you see in need, and be a force for good in the community. We'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show, weekday afternoons at 5 on AM 1380. The Big.
Are you a real estate agent looking to take your business to the next level and supercharge your marketing? Hi, I'm Brandon Rhymes, owner of Platinum MVP Realty and host of the Real Estate Quarterback Show, syndicated radio and TV show talk program on iHeartRadio, 1025 The Bone, daily 5 o'clock drive time on 1380 The Biz, and our TV show is on WeBeam TV. We're looking for real estate agents that want to join our team and supercharge their marketing utilizing some of our innovative strategies. We utilize the Real Geeks platform, Facebook marketing, internet marketing, and a lot of the traditional methods as well. Postcard mailers mailed for you, postage, signage, business cards, all paid for by the company. Aggressive real estate splits and ways to help you win in any marketplace. We need you to go out, take applications, and work our plethora of leads that we're generating on a daily basis. Reach out by clicking the form below, and we'd love to have a confidential interview with you.